Let's hear from Jeni Cheatham. She's going to talk to us about the business and how you can make a difference in your life today.
I just want to talk to you a little bit about what the last 7 years in Tupperware has been for me. Um, we're going to start a little earlier than that, but when I started in Tupperware, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect to do anything. I didn't expect to get anything. I bought the kit and I was done. Um, and I think a lot of that had to do with the way I grew up. And there wasn't anything wrong with the way I grew up, but I was taught to be grateful for what I had and not really want anything more. And I got to thinking about that the last couple days. And, we talk a lot about fixed mindset and growth mindset. And I think that might be a generational mindset because I look back at my grandparents and my mom, they all felt the same way, that they should be grateful for what they had. And it was ungrateful to want more, that you should just be happy with what you have. And that's true, but I don't think it's wrong to want more. But I grew up like that. Like I said, um, if you don't want my mom's theory was if you don't expect anything, then you're not disappointed when it doesn't happen. So my mother was my best friend, seriously. Um, the first few years of my life were a little optional. The first couple of years were great, but we moved a lot. So I didn't have a lot of friends. I knew a lot of people and I could get along with anybody, but I didn't make friends. I didn't want to get close to anybody because by the ninth grade, I had been in 13 different schools. We just moved a lot. And so my mom and I were very close because she was the one person that was always there. And when I was 12, she and I were in a car accident and she was paralyzed from the shoulders down. So that was like a whole new thing for me. She was in the hospital for 2 years. I lived with 7 different family members at that point. And you have to remember that I was like 13. Now, if you have a 13-year-old at home, you know how pleasant they are just on a regular basis. So when you start moving somebody like that around a lot, that's not happy about what's going on in their life, I was not a fun person to live with. So it wasn't their fault that I lived with so many people. Nobody wanted to live with me, including me. My mom did get out of the hospital. She was in a wheelchair. And so in the ninth grade, I needed to stay home and take care of her. I had been in so many schools through junior high that because computers were what they were back then, right? Um, Nobody really knew where I was in the school system. So I just quit going. That worked for a little while. And then I got caught. So they made me go back to school. I went to school half a day my ninth grade year and then took care of my mom the other half of the day. When summer came that year, she went back into the hospital because she always had some kind of medical thing going on. And my stepfather, we didn't talk about this back then, okay? We had some issues, we had some abuse issues, some sexual abuse issues, and I told my grandmother, and my grandmother told me not to say anything, that it would upset my mother, that it really wasn't that big a deal. So again, I didn't expect much. If that wasn't worth talking about, then, there wasn't anything to say. Um, when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to deal with that on a regular basis and I wasn't doing well with it, um, I tried to commit suicide. The bottom line on that was I didn't do it and felt like I couldn't even do that right. Okay. So I ended up spending 30 days in a psych ward in a hospital in Toledo. Now, if you haven't learned anything in your entire life, spending 30 days someplace like that will teach you a whole new world. Um, what I got out of it was that I shouldn't expect anything. These were grown people. I was one of like 3 people under 18 years old there. These were all grown people that weren't dealing with their lives any better than I was. So I figured, well, it's not going to get any better. Um, Went through that and I thought, well, maybe, my dad would kind of step up and come take care of me. So he came to the hospital to talk to the psychologist and or psychiatrist, and he told him that at 15 years old he would be happy to rent me an apartment, that I was perfectly capable of taking care of myself. The state did not think so, and I spent the next 4 years in foster care, again being told by social workers and other people that I should be grateful for what I had and not really expect a whole lot else. Side note, my foster parents were wonderful people. I stayed in one foster home the whole time. So it wasn't, that could have been a whole nother horror story, and it was not. And I'm still really close to those people. They're very good people. They're good grandkids to my, or grandparents to my kids. They're wonderful people. So that it was okay. Um, okay, so I did graduate high school. I don't know how and I don't know why, but I graduated high school and I moved to Florida again to be where my dad was, because I thought, well, now I'm grown. He doesn't really have to take care of me. I'll go live where he's at and he and I can build a relationship. 2 months after I moved there, he moved to Minnesota. So that wasn't going to work either. Um, and I stayed in Florida with my sister for a while. I ended up having a baby. That was one of the highlights of my life. She is 40 years old now. She's a wonderful person. And she pretty much got me started away from a lot of the bad decisions I was making. I was not living a good life. I was not making good life choices. We didn't call them that then. We were just called it being stupid. Um, and there was a lot of that going on in my life. So once I had serenity, things got better for a while. And I met somebody. I got married, and we had three more daughters in the 5 years that we were married. The downside, and they're wonderful children too. I like all my kids. Um, the downside to that marriage was he was very emotionally and physically abusive. Um, I am one of those people that now believe that you're a victim the first time and a volunteer after that. So for those 4 years, things were a little dicey. At one point in time, he came home and transferred the physical abuse from me to my children. So that was game over. I called a friend, I packed up, and I left. So the friend that I called did not want me to be by myself because they were afraid that he would come looking for me and it would not be good. So Michael went with me that night and he said, I'll stay with you and the girls until we figure out what you're going to do. We got married, and 27 years later, I guess I had figured out what we were going to do. But he was great. He was a wonderful person, and he adopted my kids. We had another child, so we had 5 girls all together. God bless him. We lived in a 1-bathroom house, so he had a lot of years of optional moments. We did foster care for a mentally challenged and autistic young man from the time he was 12 until he was 36. And that was very interesting. It was a very good learning experience, and we cared a lot about him. He is now in a group home because I couldn't take care of him by myself. So that being said, things had gotten better, and I wasn't expecting a lot more, but I already had more than I had ever expected to have. So I was okay with it. So I'm still on that fixed mindset of you don't need any more than you've got. Don't be selfish, right? And then in 2014, Michael started to have a lot of health issues. And I was very not sure what to do. I had joined Tupperware by that point. I had friends. I had made friends. I hadn't had a lot of friends before that because I had moved a lot and I didn't really trust people. I didn't want to get close to people. Once I joined Tupperware, um, I had made friends, not anybody I was super close to, but they were people I saw once a week. I'd go to Fall Fest and Spring Fest and be in a hotel with them for the weekend, or Jubilee. They were wonderful people, and everybody was really good to me. When Michael got sick, the rubber kind of met the road right at that point. Everybody was very, very supportive. I will call her out. Ellen Lewis called me every day when Michael was in the hospital. She called every morning. She was the first person I would talk to in the morning. Sometimes she was the last person I'd talk to at night. Um, she just was always there. And she was kind of that person that let everybody else know what was going on. So I didn't have to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Um, in 2016, I had become a director. Things were going well. I honestly still wasn't 100% in. I kind of got to where I was going by mistake and I liked it and it was fun. But then in August of 2016, Michael passed away and I quit. I didn't want to do anything. Um, my kids eventually told me that for a while it was like losing both of us. And things just, I didn't care about anything. Now, I told you all that to tell you this, that no matter where you're at right now, or where you've been, or what you're thinking your life is about right now, don't stop. Okay. There is something else going to happen. I promise. Trying to turn things over. You have to keep going. Okay. Where you're at right now on this Zoom, you are virtually surrounded and can be physically surrounded by some of the best, most supportive, wonderful people that you will ever have the opportunity to know. It's a life changer. They won't give up. They didn't give up. It would have been so much easier for all of them because I lived a couple hours away to just say, well, that's too bad. She's had a run of bad luck. Hope everything works out for her. Nobody did. They called every day. They sent phone or they sent letters. They sent notes. They visited. Just an incredible, incredible outpouring of love and support. Even the home office. I got emails from the home office. I got letters from people down there. So this company, Tupperware as a whole, but Champion in particular, is one of the best places you could ever land. Now, how are we going to tie all of this into apples? Because we're doing apples for tonight. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but apples have a secret. If you cut an apple the right way, there's a star on both sides of the apples. And what this really amounts to is everybody here, everybody that's listening to me or that will ever listen to this, you are special. And somewhere inside you, whether you've hidden it or you've ignored it or you've just tried to make it go away, there is a special part of you that you need to go ahead and let out. You need to believe in yourself. And that's hard. It's a process. I'm still doing it. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in who you can be and what you can do for yourself and for other people, whether it's your family or just other people in general, the people that you can help with this business, with your attitude, with your story. So I just want you to know that, whoever you are and whatever you're doing right now, whatever you think is going on in your life, just take a deep breath and keep on going forward because it's all going to be okay in the end. I am happier now than I have been in years. I don't even feel guilty about that anymore. I did for a while, but these people and these friends are amazing. And you are very, very blessed to be where you are. So, and I just want to thank you all for being there for me and always making me feel loved and not going crazy last night whenever I made you guys stop for a while because I couldn't catch up. So thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. So sweet. All right. So learning from your experiences and taking, you did a great job, Jenny. Thank you. Realizing that there is a star inside of you and you never give up because, you know, there's just, and I think the one thing that she said is you're a victim the first time and then you're a volunteer and how important that is that we all listen to that and from somebody who truly has lived and experienced all that she lived and experienced for us to realize that we cannot be a volunteer. We've got to stand up for ourselves, but then we thing about Jenny is she's going to make it work. She's going to make it work. So she finds a way and she makes it work. And I love that about her personality.